All right, and hello and welcome to this Token Games podcast, round table discussion of Wandavision, Season 1, critiquing and reviewing. Probably going to have a shorter title than that in a YouTube video, though. But this is also going to be on Spotify, so I doubt Spotify cares. Anyways, I'm your host, friendly and sometimes referee, your friendly neighborhood Zach Stat Pearson. And today, I'm joined by the Twitcher to end all Twitchers, except for when he scratches, a one ride guy.
Yo, what it is?
And of course, I'm joined by everyone's favorite Joker. Not because he makes them, but you recognize that laugh immediately. James of House Tono.
Nice to meet you.
You can even hear him trying to hold back the laughter.
It says nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's weird when someone his age says it. Anyways, all right, first we'll be going over critiquing some issues. And obviously, feel free to interject, or if you have your own opinion, feel free to drop it. I don't really have a set order of who's going in where, because, well, James has not finished WandaVision. Rye, you have finished WandaVision, so primarily I'm expecting you to interject. And no, I'm not going to be offended, because on some level and at some point, I'm going to be asking questions that aren't rhetorical. So,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm going to just start off by saying thank you, Marvel. You did something that practically hasn't happened since the Winter Soldier, and even then that's kind of sort of debatable. You made the hero their worst enemy. Now, what I mean by that is the way the story is set up, all the way up to the climax, through 80 to 90% of the primary plot and story, Wanda is her own worst enemy. She's creating a situation where the government has to get involved. She's literally manipulating people's minds. And she's warping the reality not for herself, but of everyone around her in a set radius. Because she's doing that, well, the entire story happens. However, I won't say B plots in particular, but the seasonal B plot or secondary plot, it's very obvious. Getting Wanda to not be crazy. I ain't got no simpler words for that. The B plot for the entire series is Wanda, calm your crazy ass down. Now, she is very stressed, and it is understandable. She's been through a lot. And even though everyone and their mom came back during the reverse snapping, guess what? Vision was not on the list. Now, even though Wanda practically had no lines in the final Avengers Infinity War movie, why'd I say final? Like that's going to be the last Avengers movie. Hilarious. Let's just hurry up and get to Avengers versus X-Men. Anyways.
Well, not to mention Endgame was the final Avengers movie.
In Endgame, where Wanda barely had any lines, it now gives more weight to when she turns to Thanos and says, "You took everything from me." Because the way I was looking at it was Vision in the war effort got cut. Because if you know anything about the behind the scenes stuff, Marvel, well, they took too long trying to get licensing for everyone they wanted to show up. Instead of starting off and trying to get the licensing for everyone to show up when they show up, including Netflix characters and shit, they had to cut a lot of things because they weren't going to have enough time to get licensing permission, which was really fucking dumb because all the shows were over. It shouldn't even be that hard of a negotiation because these people are only going to show up for less than 2 minutes. But it took long, so they told them don't even try to get it. They even dropped it from the storyboard for the most part, but we only know about it because they were planning to from the storyboard. And I just thought Vision, because he, well, primarily cost a lot for CG shit's sake, got cut. But no, Vision stayed dead.
Yeah.
As dead as a robot can get who's sentient.
Well, yeah, because he wasn't snapped. That's the whole thing. All the heroes that came back were characters that got snapped out. Vision got just straight up crushed when they tore the mind gem out of him.
Yeah, like his forehead was just completely
concaved.
Like a. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That shit looked more pounded than a porn star's pussy.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, we rated R for a reason. So that line now has more weight.
Yeah. That and might I also say, WandaVision, I think, had the best look at the return of everybody, for sure, that we got. Like, just an incredibly powerful look at how everybody came back and the chaos that ensued from everybody coming back, in particular, like in that hospital setting. Like, holy crap.
With Monica. Now, I do like that
Exactly.
Monica did, on some level, have an episode and a half devoted to her. It made sense because anyone who knew anything about Captain Marvel, they know that Monica is actually going to be one of the most powerful energy-based heroes that will ever exist in Marvel's catalog. And she used to be very popular for a time and even led the Avengers. And here's a very fun fact about when a racist screws up. All right, so Monica was in charge of the Avengers, even though at one point Iron Man was on the team, Captain America was in it, and Thor. And Secret Wars happened, right?
Yeah.
The actual Secret Wars, not the shit from the movies, where random heroes based on popularity at the time, let's be honest, and random villains based on popularity at the time, let's be honest, were all moved to a special place where they had to fight to basically survive. Now, we've mentioned this before, but it was when we were telling people that's where the symbiote, aka Venom, initially came from and first met Spider-Man in that Secret War dimension, planet, whatever you want to call that hunk of rock they were on. But that wasn't the only thing that happened because of that. Everyone knows that the greatest the highest selling graphic novel of all time, at least last I heard, is Superman Doomsday, correct?
I would have thought Watchmen, but maybe.
Okay, so for a long time, if it's not still, Superman Doomsday is one of the highest selling graphic novels to ever exist. Not in North America, period. It was the one where Superman, albeit temporarily, for the first time, died. Now, here's the thing. That writer left Marvel because his racist editor told him Monica Rambeau can't lead the Avengers. And he didn't state a reason why. And when he asked, he basically implied a white man has to do the job.
Hey, what?
So that editor, so the writer of it decided he was going to give him what he wanted, but not the way he wanted. And since he couldn't get the decision reversed, no, this was not Stan Lee for the record. This was some other person. That was the editor-in-chief of that particular book. He decided he wanted to go leave. And the first thing he wrote was Doomsday. Yeah. Trippy shit, right? So yeah, anyways, the final thing is that I did like that there was a secret underhanded villain, but the problem was their introduction was stupid. The way it was handled was stupid. However, that is a minor annoyance. The most minor of annoyances for me. The biggest issue I have, currently at least, is plain and simple. The last 2 minutes, if not 60 seconds of the show is supposed to explain what leads you into Doctor Strange. Because here's why I said the secondary villain, which is a different person than Wanda, got on my fucking nerves. Wanda was fighting an actual witch who explained to her she's using witch magic. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This witch told her, do you know what I'm keeping back and fending off? You can't contain me or warp my brain or reality. I'm telling you, despite what you think, I'm actually doing something that's helping save everyone. Bitch didn't say what it is. Tell Wanda to go through your brain. Prove to her you're not lying. Nope. And we're supposed to figure out that means that her not being able to fend something off is what's going to bring forth the nightmare scenario, literally, not figuratively, that's in Doctor Strange 2. And on top of that, the final 60 seconds. Let me tell you exactly what happens. Wanda has learned to make a humanoid duplicate of herself, while the other her, the true her, as the Scarlet Witch, is literally reading and learning and comprehending magic spells. Not as much as Doctor Strange, though, because Wanda only found one book out of the course of the show. And then, out of nowhere, she hears her children's voices who don't exist anymore because they were made of magic, and Wanda put reality back to normal, which meant they don't exist anymore. And then literally when they say that, Mom, help us, fade to black credits. How the fuck? The biggest advertisement and promotion from day one for this, before we even saw a trailer, was Wanda will be featured in Doctor Strange's next movie. However, if you want to find out the events that lead into that, you have to make sure you watch WandaVision. If you just saw WandaVision, if you just saw Doctor Strange 1, if you just saw the last two Avengers movies, you would not know at any point in time you're supposed to put these small ass, less than 60-second long smackerels, as Yogi Bear would put it, of material is supposed to explain the entire opening and synopsis and plot of the second Doctor Strange movie. Because the only thing we know was that him and Wanda are navigating the dream realm or the nightmare realm. That's it. But now we're supposed to magically infer and imply, and this is just my guess because this is what I was able to figure out, and even then I had to think about it for a solid hour because it was, again, no real touch on. Agatha, that's the name of the second boss, or I'm sorry, the secondary villain of the WandaVision show. Because like I said, the way I look at it, Wanda was her own worst enemy in the show when the first 6 episodes, and there's only 8. The way I see it, Agatha was somehow manipulating or controlling or using dream and nightmare energy. And she had some type of deal or contract with whoever was running the nightmare realm. Because I forgot who runs the nightmare realm. And because she can't do that contract or deal anymore, something's about to come out. But here's the problem with that. That don't tell me how the fuck Doctor Strange come into the picture. That doesn't tell me why her children, while she's awake, mind you, and conscious, are yelling at her in her ear, Mommy, please save me. That doesn't tell me she's going to link up and go to Doctor Strange. We have no confirmation that those two even spoke. The only reason we know they were in the same place at the same time is 2 reasons. Number 1, Doctor Strange, who could have wiped everyone's ass in the final fight, just like Wanda, was literally fighting back a tsunami with one hand, mind you. And during the funeral, I believe Doctor Strange was there, and so was Wanda, who left very early on after the fucking funeral was over. I think. And that's my biggest and all of my gripes with WandaVision. So to summarize, number 1, the C plot should have been elevated to having its own episode, and C plot should have been eliminated from the entire series. There should only be an A plot and a B plot, and if you want to foreshadow something like a C plot or the next episode, it should be 1 sentence long. The next episode is a whole entire plot devoted to the shit we were talking about. Like the episode they did where they basically almost did a recap of how Wanda might be viewing reality and how she's breaking it from the outside. So even though you saw Wanda, there was practically no new lines in her and all the shit was repeats and reruns, which ironic and also poetic because anything from the 60s, 70s, and 80s is reruns right now, unless it's the news, which doesn't have an end date. The second thing is the treatment of Monica Rambeau. I don't hate how she was treated. I like what they were doing and implying. They basically tried to expedite the process of Monica Rambeau becoming a hero because, well, Captain Marvel failed. And instead of just making her played by someone the fuck else, they're going to make her character extremely, extremely less relevant or only use her in very limited engagements because, unfortunately, Brie Larson has an asshole/petty streak that she can't get rid of. Yeah, I said it. I don't want to hate her. I've actually seen some of the movies she wrote and directed, and I respect her talent, but she doesn't understand her problem is her personality.
And she did a movie where she got it on with Thanos.
Completely irrelevant, and I have no idea what you're talking about. But anyways,
I'm talking about Elizabeth Olsen and Josh Brolin having a sex scene.
Bro, I said Brie Larson.
Oh, I thought you said Elizabeth Olsen. My bad. My bad.
How the
Holy
fuck
shit,
you
missed
mix
everything.
those names up?
Because I'm looking at something I've been trying to bring up for the last like 10 minutes. So.
Well, I appreciate you waiting. But anyways, yeah, you just couldn't keep it in your mouth. But anyways, that is a partial issue. It is a very insignificant issue because at the end of the day, they did accomplish what they set out to do. They expedited how she's going to become a superhero. And I bet you Brie's going to become petty because the way she's going to look at it, she's just doing everything Captain Marvel can do. She's just basically taking my slot. Well, yeah, she is. Fuck you. It's your own damn fault. But anyways, and the final nail in the coffin is the lack of the most basic thing that was promoted. The explanation and easily comprehensible reasoning on how Doctor Strange and Wanda are going to link up. Now, that's all I got. So, Rye Guy, take it away. I'm going to go grab some passion fruit mochi.
Oh, so you're not going to be hearing what I have to say in direct whatever to what you've been saying?
Motherfucker, my microphone is in my kitchen. I'm going to hear you.
Okay. Well,
I'm curious of what Ryan has to say about it.
Yeah, because first of all, that's the thing is like a lot of the things, like it seemed to be mostly like I never saw, maybe it exists, but I never saw anything official saying that this movie was going to be, directly leading into and tying into the Doctor Strange movie. Yes, they said that Scarlet Witch was going to be appearing in Doctor Strange, but they never said that this show was going to have anything to do with that stuff. In fact, like there's actually an article I could recommend to you here from Collider, straight up called "WandaVision failed to deliver things that were never promised to me." And it just talks about how pretty much everybody else in the fandom built up all this shit that obviously has to happen in this series, for whatever reason, and then it didn't happen. And it's like, well, why didn't this happen? It was supposed to happen. It's like, no, like you said that this was gonna, happen. We never said that.
Oh no, I don't have that problem because I came in with no expectations. I wasn't expecting to see Doctor Strange. I just got told because of what Wanda does, it's going to lead into the events of the Doctor Strange movie. Or it's going to, let me rephrase that, lead into her involvement in the Doctor Strange movie. Nothing got explained as to why that would happen.
Well, and that's something obviously that would, I would imagine that would be explained once it actually happens. But, in the meantime, like this just sort of, yeah. Though, I mean, it did toss out. I know it name dropped that, oh, you're more powerful than Doctor Strange, but that's, about it as far as that. I will say, what was I going to say? I completely lost my train of thought. My apologies. But basically, the series definitely did some and sort of played on the fact that people were going to make their own assumptions about stuff, which, I mean, we've been given every reason to, get that way. But
no, I didn't do that, so I don't know why you're bringing that up to me.
I mean, it sounded like you just were because you're talking about stuff that was said that I don't remember ever being publicly said. Or officially said, I should say.
Yeah, well, they were officially said, and they even showed off, concept art of Doctor Strange and Wanda overlooking something in an altered dimension. They even mentioned before the movie even started production, there will be alternate reality shit. My whole thing is, like I said, they said because of what's going to happen in WandaVision, or what has happened in WandaVision, it's going to eventually involve her crossing paths with Doctor Strange in his movie.
Okay.
We were not told what that thing was. That's my problem. These other people who have these other issues and false expectations, that's just life. That's gonna happen. That's not my problem.
It's because they haven't come out with the Doctor Strange movie yet. So of course it's not saying what's happened yet.
Stop trying to apologize. No, they didn't have to.
I'm not trying to apologize for anything. I'm saying like I don't understand what you're talking about.
I know. Listen to the words. Listen to the words very carefully.
Okay,
WandaVision's job in the plot at some point in time was to explain what situation that she caused that would make her have to intersect with Doctor Strange and the alternate realm dream reality bullshit. Your issue, or rather your lack of comprehension, is centering off of one thing. You're thinking that it was not the job of the show to even explain that. You think only the movie's job was to explain that. But what I'm trying to tell you, and possibly the rest of the internet has mentioned, is that that was never the case. When Wanda is already there, they're not going to sit there and have some giant backlog story that takes up half the movie showing what happens to Wanda. Because remember, it's a Doctor Strange movie. So the primary character is going to be Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is going to ask Wanda, hey, I can't answer your question if you talk over me, man.
Okay, I still don't. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
There you are now.
Signal strength got low all of a sudden. So yeah.
Yeah,
in the Doctor Strange movie, the primary character and the primary plot is about whatever Doctor Strange has to do. In the WandaVision show, the primary character and the primary plot is shit that revolves around Wanda. But here's the thing. They decided to interweave and interconnect them. The first thing they said is the only reason Wanda is in the Doctor Strange movie is because of shit she does in WandaVision. Okay. Show us what that was. Tell us specifically what is causing her to need to go to Doctor Strange specifically.
Okay, how is her like using all powerful magic and rewriting reality around her? How would that not tie in to what's going on there? How would that not be something that she would have to, talk with him about?
Well, first and foremost, I didn't say it wasn't. In fact, the way I see it, the minute that reality bubble showed up and they realized it was a reality bubble, I was under the impression Doctor Strange was going to at a bare minimum at least cameo, and that didn't happen. But guess what? I wasn't promised a cameo in WandaVision, so I didn't expect one. I just wanted one.
Yeah, but then you're acknowledging though that that's obvious. Then that would be what the thing would be that she would have that would get Doctor Strange involved. So what is the question? I guess at that point,
I'm not the one with the question. You had the question. I got my answer.
What?
They didn't succeed in doing what they said they were going to do with WandaVision, with explaining and telling and showing me why those two are going to cross paths or link up. They said that was going to be explained. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let me phrase that. They said that was going to be shown to us before the Doctor Strange movie happens, and the Doctor Strange movie is going to pick up where that shit left off, because then you'll understand why she's even there, where she is, and why she's involved. That never happened.
How did that not happen? It's perfectly obvious.
No, it's not. It's perfectly
obvious. It's literally the entire point of the show.
Right. It's obvious to a fucking nerd. We're talking about the general consumer. I told you, it took me 60 minutes.
Okay, how does the general consumer at that point not figure out that, oh my God, she used powerful magic that altered the reality of everything around her? How would the regular consumer, quote unquote, not put together that, oh, that would be the reason why Doctor Strange would want to get involved?
Ryan.
What is that? Oh my God, Zax.
No, dude, I'm giving you the answers. You just don't like them. What did I just say? Because the average consumer is not a nerd.
It has nothing. Oh my God. Okay, well, if by that logic, somebody who's not a nerd wouldn't be reading up on all this shit and wouldn't fucking care. And so,
yeah, there are people like that. There are people who literally will watch the movies, not fuck with a toy, not fuck with a book, but then they want people like you and me and YouTubers on the internet to tell them everything that happened in between or give them theories and shit that they couldn't understand. Dude, they exist. They're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. The problem is that they made it so blatantly hard to see and so much foreshadowing instead of explaining, aka show don't tell, was happening, that it even took some nerds, not many, some nerds, a little bit of time to immediately try to figure it out. But guess what? We don't actually know if that's even true or not. We just have hypotheses. We don't even have theories. We just have hypotheses. My hypotheses after 60 minutes, not of YouTube research, but just watching shit, once the show was over, is that when she put reality back to normal and decided to fuck with Agatha, whatever Agatha was containing, or whatever spell Agatha might have had to keep some type of accidental thing she uncovered or power source at bay from the alternate nightmare world or dimension, got out. But if that was the case, like I said earlier, she should have just said some shit like that. So at a bare minimum, that one sentence could automatically start the link that goes directly into Stephen Strange shit. But here's the thing. That's only a theory. Everyone who keeps saying, oh, this is why, we're not the ones who got the script. Also, not everybody's going to theorize. Some people are just going to be confused or not even understand why Wanda's involved and not care. They just think it's cool that they're finally linking up a buddy duo system in a movie that's male-female, because the only times that happened is Avengers. Like I said, there's layers to this shit. The thing you need to subtract from the situation is Ryan logic. You can't use Ryan logic because we're talking about general consumer.
I'm talking as a general consumer, going like, it's like now you're bringing up like deeper shit, like, oh, she unleashed something that Doctor Strange has to take care of. Why wouldn't it just be Doctor Strange going straight to Wanda saying like, hey, so what are you doing over here?
Yeah, and like I said, all we have is theories. We don't know what that incident primarily was. We just have guesstimations and foreshadowing. Here's the problem with that. That's not what we technically signed up for, if you listen to what Marvel said. But doesn't mean the show was bad. It doesn't mean that they made it too hard to understand. In fact, I at least if they explained it and it was too hard to understand, I'd be less annoyed with it. Because someone on the YouTube is going to break it down at some point, or there's going to be a nerd wall on some hole of the internet that's going to break it down. That didn't even happen. What they did was set something up and then not even tell us that they set it up correctly. They did it in such a foreshadowy and secret ninja-esque way that people aren't going to catch it. And those people, general consumer, and in some cases, some nerds. Because as I've told you, and as we all know, some people think they support Marvel by just going to the movies, but we all know Marvel is bigger than that. So when they get the opportunity to support it in other ways, they immediately stop giving them their money and try to cheat. And they're going to go on YouTube. They're going to look up comic books to see if this has happened in the past. They're going to go to a theory page who quote unquote claims that they know what's going to happen. But unless you were literally there, or Kevin Feige, we don't know what actually makes them meet up. And it's a little bit annoying and disturbing, especially for the people who just watched WandaVision. They've only seen the Avengers movie when the final segment and the final thing said are, wait, you can't trap me here. You don't know what you're going to do. Followed by, Mom, help us! The fuck? See, that's why I can understand them, because I...
Wait. What are you talking about that's the last thing?
The mom help us thing? You didn't know that?
That was, like, there was a whole other episode after that. The final episode...
Hold up. Let me go to Disney Plus real quick.
Wait, the final episode of WandaVision was Wanda getting like the full like new Scarlet Witch costume, and then like
basically and then she's reading her book. Remember?
And she's reading a book?
Yeah, you remember she was reading her magic book where she was actually in the Scarlet Witch outfit? In the log cabin?
Yeah.
That's the last episode, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shit, you got me thinking I seen like, yeah. And then, well, I guess maybe...
Mom Help Us was the episode before that. What?
Well, I guess your audio wasn't up enough. All right, so when she's reading that book, she freaks out and she hears her children yell, Mom, help us. And then it just fades to black.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Well, see, there you go. And that's probably...
I remember Mom Help Us from the previous episode where they were...
No, it happened again when the kids weren't even supposed to have existed. So like I said, now you at least you understand a little bit better where me and the general audience is coming from. That type of shit, no possible explanation for. Now, Vision on the other hand,
we'll see
I
what would happen
totally get Vision. I totally get Vision. Vision.
Oh, that's what you get. Okay, that's the thing that I'm most confused about, and that's the one thing you get. Okay, I guess I don't know.
Well, look, I already told you. Like, we already discussed it some time ago. People can be smart in different ways, or they can just. Some people can reason shit faster than others, and blah blah blah. Humans are different. Okay, what don't you get about Vision? And I'll try to explain it.
Well, mainly, I don't understand what happened to the new Vision afterward, because there's no resolution to that. It's just he's just out somewhere. He just pieced out.
Okay, 2.0. All right, so here's the thing about Vision.
Yeah.
Vision realized. Now, just so we're clear, to avoid confusion, I'm going to say 1.0 and 2.0. If you don't know which is which, holy shit. Now, here's the thing. When 1.0 was fighting 2.0, 1.0 made 2.0 realize that we're both 1.0, but on different levels.
Yeah.
Based on your coding and your sentience, it basically he overwrit their control, because he basically made himself realize he wants to exist and not destroy himself.
Well, yeah, that part I totally get. But I'm saying what, after the fact, then, like, I'm saying what happened after is what I don't, yeah.
Oh, he just decided to fucking leave. What? I'm a little bit annoyed.
And there's exactly. And there's no, like, resolution to what's going on with that. No.
My thing about that was, I was annoyed by that because one very simple reason. I kept thinking he's just going to show up. He went to go destroy the audio, the AI, or the programming backups that the government might have for him, and come back to her literally at that log cabin in actual colors other than, Ku Klux Klan mode. And he was just going to say, I left because I wanted to make sure they could never make another me again for a long time. And he was basically going to say what he said, kind of sort of similar to Ultron. Humans are going to destroy themselves if they start making creations as smart or as strong as me. And something like that. And then they're both going to hear, Mom, help us! Or something like that. But him leaving, no, that doesn't actually follow any form of logic unless there's going to be a Vision show. And the opening is still what I said. He's going to go and secretly infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D. or S.W.O.R.D. or both. And he's going to remove all the AI and programming and software that I'm based off in. Basically, the government is going to try to play the Tony Stark game, invent advanced technology to destroy shit. And he's like, tell you what, I'm advanced technology. How about I destroy your advanced technology because you have no right or reason to do this, blah, 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 blah. So, but I don't remember if there is going to be a Vision show or not. But that's where I am with that. I thought or think that they're setting up something else, see, with this whole foreshadowing bullshit that they don't properly explain to us. But I am annoyed about how they handled it. I'll agree with you on that. But yeah, okay, continue your issues with the show.
First of all, before I continue, I would just like to express my sadness at just seeing now that apparently Jessica Walter died. I will say I was bummed to find out that wasn't the other Quicksilver, but it was, they had their fun and they played with people's expectations, and so they accomplished what they set out to do in there. And I, in the end, I'll live with it. I think a big part of things for me was like people freaking out about these apparent like huge revelations, where I'm like, wait, what? You don't know that already? Like, that's not obvious? And I'm not saying that as like a, just like, as somebody who's read all the comics and knows shit's coming. Some of it, yeah, but like, I'm trying to look at it from the point of view of people who don't know. But people were freaking out at the end of like the second to last episode that they were, that they all of a sudden revealed that she's the Scarlet Witch. I'm like, that's literally been her name this whole time. What? What are you talking about? How is that a surprise? Like, that you can't pretend like, oh my God, that's a huge revelation when it's literally been the character the whole time.
Would you like your question answered?
Yeah, go for it.
When, at any point in time, did Wanda Maximoff name herself Scarlet Witch or was called Scarlet Witch?
I personally recall several times. Maybe I just haven't paid attention enough to know that she hasn't been called that, but my recollection
has always been Wanda for the movies. They never call her a Scarlet Witch. The only people with aliases is literally everyone that isn't Wanda. Vision is already his own alias because his alias is his name. Wanda Maximoff has only been Wanda Maximoff. You knew that she was Scarlet Witch. Like I told you, general consumers do not know that. Even when they make advertisement products for her, they label the product Scarlet Witch. But Wanda in the movie, even if the product is from the movie, does not go by that name because she has never heard that name until the TV show. Yeah.
I guess that escaped my notice.
Because you a nerd.
Which is, that's a little weird. But oh well. Still, I don't know that it was worth a whole freak out by members of the internet over that fact. Like if she was all of a sudden revealed to be the next Iron Man, I could understand that. But then why? I don't know. So that, and then the whole revelation that things happened because she wanted Vision back to life. It's like fucking duh. Like, why is this a big revelation? Like, of course it is. Like, so I don't know. I don't understand.
Would you like an answer to your question again?
Please. Yes, this one absolutely very much.
Because Wanda has never had an explanation to how her abilities work and no one else has ever figured them out in the movie.
That doesn't answer my question at all.
Your questions, if I'm predicting them correctly, the reason you can't figure out the answer is because you're not removing the nerd.
This, again, has nothing to do with being a nerd. It has to do with she loved Vision and she wanted him back. I thought that was fucking obvious from the whole get-go. That has nothing to do with how her powers work. That has to do with her motivation, which I thought, from the get-go was very obvious. It was because, hey, look, Vision's back, and she probably did that. She brought him back.
Nope. And now you get it now. The general consumer is not Ryan. Ryan is not the general consumer. It's not going to be obvious to them because you have more knowledge by default.
That has nothing to do with my level of knowledge from outside of the movies. It straight up shows in the thing that in Civil War that the two of them had, or not Civil War, Infinity War, or showed that they had a close connection, and even in WandaVision is showing that they had a very close loving connection. So why is it all of a sudden a surprise that she wanted him back to life? Like, how is that a surprise? That has nothing to do with
The surprise is that her powers could do that. You know what she is and isn't capable of.
No, but the revelation was supposed to be that was the motivation, and I'm like, okay, that's not a surprising motivation
for you.
For anybody who understands how the human heart works.
Yeah, see, you
what
say
are you
that.
Talking about?
You say that, but here's the thing. Why do people still have that disconnect? Because, like I told you, they're working on a frame of logic that they have and that maybe you had a long time ago. And just so that doesn't take out of context, I am in no way implying you're some type of heartless bastard or some shit. What I mean is, you have never, since the beginning of the Marvel movies, maybe except for Blade, been in a position to where you lack extensive knowledge on these characters. But like I told you and implied and meant, damn near everyone who sees these movies only see these movies. And if they're kids, they might buy the toys and the books. But most people, they're not going to get what Ryan gets.
Honestly, my knowledge of Avengers stuff is relatively surface level. Avengers, I've never given a shit about them before the movies.
That's what I'm telling you. That's still a lot by comparison. Think about it. I have literally only ever read from beginning to end 2 Avengers stories my whole life. 2. That's the equivalent of about 40 comic books that have the name Avengers on them. 40. My whole life. I still know enough to make an hour-long verbal speech or at least 200-page essay on the difference in information that I know versus general consumer guy and gal.
Okay, so you're implying that anybody who sees something related to the heart and issues of love and stuff like that is not going to understand why somebody would want to do something because they didn't read decades of things.
Ryan, that's what you're missing. Them not comprehending love isn't where the disconnect for them happened. That's where you think it happened, but that's not where it happened. The disconnect is that her power of love / mixed with her actual powers could do that on that scale, period at all. Because remember.
But I'm not asking how it happened. I'm saying that people seem confused why it happened. And it's like, it's because she loved him. How is that a surprising revelation? If it was some other,
I want to make sure I understand your question. I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to make sure I understand your question. Your question, at least I'm trying to see if this is it. Your question is, why is anyone surprised that Wanda made all this happen because she was lonely and missed her loved ones? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's not where people were surprised.
Except that's what I read. People were surprised, and they were saying that this was the big revelation.
And some people were surprised, and probably some people were surprised. But what's connected to that, or the thing that actually surprised people the most, is that her powers are on a scale that she could fucking do that. So I'm not disregarding what you say.
No, I'm talking though, like even comic book fans who I know from these comic book things that were posting this stuff were saying, "Oh my God, this is a huge revelation that she did all this because she missed Vision." It's like, what? These are people who know these fucking characters who were shocked that this was the case. I'm like, why?
What did I say earlier? Everyone don't think like you do. Everyone don't think like me do. Everyone is different. Their level of analytical critique and critical thinking may not be as high as yours, but also the main thing is that there will always be shock and surprise when it comes to these Marvel characters on some level, whether they know a lot or don't know a lot. And you're right, I don't get how they couldn't get it, but here's the thing. You have to, I'm tired of beating a dead horse, but fuck it. You have to remove how you logic the shit from the situation. They are surprised because for them, you got to remember, this is the longest they've seen her on a screen. Remember, just the first episode alone, the first episode alone, Wanda has more lines than she's had in 3 movies combined. A lot of people are learning this shit for the first time. Because remember, we have never really seen Wanda emote. When her brother died, there was no funeral that we saw or boo-hoo cry segment. And the next time we see her, she's already perfectly fine at a restaurant getting ready to fight the international terrorist who did some shit in the home country, which wasn't even her home country, and she's been given citizenship. Then what happens after that? We don't see her grieving or being scared and emo. She accidentally killed the whole entire floor full of people. In fact, fucking Tony Stark is the one who had to deal with that. And also, I don't think his reaction was correct, and it kind of pissed me off, but that's another matter. And it immediately goes to her inside of a kitchen. Remember, she's supposed to be there and not really avoiding the public because she accidentally killed a whole floor full of people. Hey, I'm going to go get some sauce for this pasta, or I'm going to go out to get something. Wanda, don't leave. Who the fuck you talking to, Vision? Hear me out. If you do this, they will never stop coming for you, Wanda. Be gone, fuck! And then directly after that, what happens? Where is Wanda next? She's basically on the run with Vision, and they're living a life, having a happy family situation going on. We never see Wanda break until WandaVision, but that annoys me because at a bare minimum, it should be on some DVD and Blu-ray extras, but it doesn't. We don't see Wanda hurt that much. The closest we got to her truly hurting and expressing that was that one sentence, "You took everything from me," and Endgame. Before that, it was when she was literally killing a Vision. Before that, nothing. But we know she's hurting. There's the difference between knowing a character is hurting and them expressing it. Wanda, because of their editing and their writing, they never touch on her hurting longer than 30 seconds. If you actually sit down and look at, I mean, I'm a video editor, but if normal people actually sit down and think about it, think about all the times you've seen Wanda. Almost every time she shows up, someone she knows or someone around her dies, and then you don't see the reaction of it. Like I said,
that for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and because of that, Wanda's a harder character for people to process in general. Because I had a similar conversation. Ooh, I wish I could bring him, but there was this guy I know, David, and he realized halfway through the season, he texted me, he's like, "Man, I'm pissed it's just now happening. Wanda with feelings." It's like, "Oh, you just not noticed that?" I was like, "Yeah." "Wait, you already knew this?" It's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, you're a video editor, so that's kind of like a given." It's like, why does everyone think because I'm a video editor, I'm going and editing every single movie I watch, some shit? Like, no. I noticed that Steve Rogers hurts. We see him hurt.
Well, Wanda, we did get to see hurting after Pietro died in Age of Ultron, but then, yeah, that was about the extent
Less
of it.
than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But now you see.
I would argue it was longer than that. Like, you saw her immediate screams and unleashing of power, and then going after Ultron, something fierce, and
then 30 seconds later. But
as far as long term, yeah, I get you.
Yeah, and then when she sees Pietro, the fake Pietro, like, that one kind of bothered me because Agatha kind of explained it to make it say she knew she was going to make that spell, or she did make that spell, but she didn't want to deal with getting the body, so she just used somebody who was local and put all of his memories into him. But the thing is that makes no sense, because first off, Wanda manifested people who don't exist and gave birth to them, and she recreated Vision to the point where even he understood that he shouldn't be alive, but it was really him. So why the fuck was Pietro just fucked? Like, first off, he should have came back first, not Vision. She should have made Vision, and he should have shown up within less than an hour later. I think the reason we even got the other guy is because for some reason when they were negotiating this shit, they couldn't come to an agreement with booking him. Especially when he found out, "Oh, I'm not back forever," or they probably did want him back forever. And this guy just was like, "Nah, I want more money," or I want to be brought back from the dead permanently," or so. We don't know. And they got him. So that alone is an issue, and they didn't handle it right. But I didn't bring it up in my issues because I have to rewatch the Agatha reveal episode, because I think she said that she went out of her way to fuck with Wanda making him come back and just went and grabbed him because he was closer. So I'm reserving judgment on that one, and that's why specifically I didn't bring it up, because as far as I'm concerned, that's the only plot hole in the show.
Well, that, and also there's also the fact that she kind of lost her mind when she went to the house that Vision had got for them, the house plot, as in.
Yeah.
So that would, I think, explain why her mind first went to him.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck this man got a job, but that's another matter.
I mean, Avengers salary.
No, according to who is it?
That Shield money.
No, according to Captain Falcon, they all just get donations.
That too. Well, I believe now that's the case. For a while, though, they were on like government things and shit with Shield until everything kind of crumbled.
Nah, because they were never made legal citizens, specifically those two. But yeah, that's math from the time. But yeah, that's the best explanation I can give you. It's because people comprehend shit differently, even if you never touched the comic, or since you have just learned about the characters, people are going to learn shit at different points in times. So I'm not even mad at you for that one. I just don't get how no one realized until I said it Wanda has barely had any lines and is barely allowed to grieve or emote, and her whole life keeps getting fucked up.
I will say I was very happy to see like them address the fact that she keeps slipping in and out of her accent over the movies.
Oh yeah, that's I don't even blame Olsen for that. The problem is that Marvel's directors didn't fucking pay attention. That was all that was.
Yeah, like the fact that it was super thick in Age of Ultron, and then Civil War is like almost completely gone, and then like from there it kind of goes back and forth. So I liked that they like addressed that, even if it wasn't the plan from the get go. Like I feel like the way they incorporated it in was a solid approach. And also, I hope I wasn't the only one to appreciate the Kick-Ass reference. So, Zach's. Oh, he's muted. Since he's not here to respond, I'll explain to anybody who didn't know. It's the fact that both Evan Peters and Aaron Johnson both were in the Kick-Ass movies. Aaron Johnson himself as Kick-Ass, and then Evan Peters as his friend. And so the fact that both these people from the Kick-Ass movie now ended up being Quicksilver, and that then in the late 90s, early 2000s era sitcom episode with quote-unquote Pietro, a.k.a. Mr. Boner, the fact that they straight up, go like, oh, Kick-Ass! And then he walks away, and then Wanda goes, Kick-Ass! Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, that's pretty true to form for that era of sitcom, and even for shit these days. But I personally appreciated that. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they handled her grief pretty well, and oh my god, the flashback scene to the bomb landing. Oh god.
Oh man, tell me what happened.
Basically, if flashback, you remember in Age of Ultron, they mentioned, like, they explained about how the bomb, they were trapped with the bomb, and the bomb just wasn't going off, and they were pretty much ready for it to any time. Basically, in WandaVision, they show a scene, flashing back to them as kids with their parents. And it shows that her dad came home with all these sitcoms on DVDs and stuff, and and they would watch them together as a family, just to have some fun, and also to learn to speak just English, and to sort of drown out their accent.
Is there a word for de-plot holing, or is it just called de-plot holing? I kind of want to know if there's a word for that, because that was a plot hole and they fixed it. But what is the word for a plot hole that's been filled?
Well, I mean, in some ways that's a retcon, or in Marvel terms, it would be a no prize.
The fuck is that?
You don't know what a no prize is? Okay, strap yourselves in, ladies and fucking gentlemen. So it's a thing that started, it's in Marvel Comics. It's a decades old joke, several decades now. Stan Lee would used to do this every now and then. It's basically what happens if the readers notice some inconsistency in the book. They notice something's fucked up, something is straight up wrong, so they point it out, but then they also suggest a reason why it wasn't a mistake, actually, and shut up. And and if you they do that correctly, they're like, hey, good job, reader, good job fixing our mistake, here's your no prize. And it was straight up as in NO prize, that and that's the joke, is that they don't actually get anything for doing this, but let's well, here we acknowledge you, and here you go, you've been recognized. So, and that's I actually ended up getting one at one point for writing into Marvel about something weird that happened in an issue of Astonishing X-Men back in the day. But Yeah, so it's basically the fans like coming up with a reason why something works that shouldn't. um, and so in a way, this was kind of a no prize, but like not really. It was just kind of retconning, like not like changing fundamentally like something that was established and saying like no, that wasn't it. Actually, it was this. So it's not that kind of retcon, but anyway. So,
What happens if it does?
If it does what?
No, what happens if it were to be the opposite?
Oh, okay. Then, well, at that point, then that would be like a straight up retcon. Like, well, retcon stands for retroactive continuity, which basically happens. Usually, it's something that like all of a sudden, you know, a present day writer writes a story that changes something that had happened before. Like, and there's different levels of retconning. Like, there's the retcon that completely changes something that had already been established and says, no, that's not what actually happened. This is what happened. But then there's also some stuff that just goes back and explains something that had never really been explained and adds this is now part of the lore. It was never part of the lore before, but now it is. Like if they retconned in all of a sudden that Peter Parker's parents, like let's say that, you know, they revealed some revelation that it was actually Peter Parker's parents that arranged for Uncle Ben to get killed. This didn't happen. I'm not saying this happened. I'm just saying this as an example of something where like this was never the case. This was never established to be the case, but now. So here, the story that they tell in WandaVision, like they show, you know, that that she watches all these old sitcoms, like and going through the decades, which is why we see so many decades of like various sitcom structures represented in the show, going like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, you know, as the series progresses. Because it shows that they're looking at everything from like I Love Lucy and Mr. Ed stuff to like Family Matters, Full House stuff to like straight up they're looking at DVD of Malcolm in the Middle. So so they're watching these and they're just having a grand old time, and then all of a sudden, boom, like their house just practically explodes. Like just you're seeing like little things with the power flickering a little bit, and then all of a sudden just bam, dust cloud, like shit is falling in disarray, and you look and you see the bomb laying there as Wanda and Pietro are like holding each other, and you're seeing the bomb with the words Stark on it. And I might have forgotten about that entirely at the James?
Oh no, I'm here.
Oh, okay. It like logged you in and out, it showed.
No, I just had to reset. But
okay, not a problem. Just wanted to make sure you weren't missing it. So basically, like, so it's a moment that like had I not like just rewatched Age of Ultron like a month and a half ago, like I probably would have forgotten all about that. But the fact that I like had just watched it and then all of a sudden there is the bomb laying there and I'm going, oh fuck, okay, like there's the fucking moment. Like they did such a good job of showing that. But yeah, there's a lot that the show definitely did right. A lot of I mean it's set out to be a mind fuck too, and that it most certainly delivered.
Yeah, because Ultron, I thought he pretty much killed half the team, to be honest with you. How bred he was.
Yeah, well, I mean the Avengers, the only member that Ultron managed to kill was Quicksilver. But yeah, so the fact that he didn't kill more of them, you know, yeah. Oh, we want to talk retcons too. While we're on the subject of Age of Ultron, let's talk about how Hasbro or whatever company it was, I think it was Hasbro, retconned who was fucking riding the motorcycle out of the plane in one of the most badass stunts in the whole movie.
Who?
Well, you know how Black Widow rode the motorcycle out of the back of the Avengers, out of the Quinjet?
Yeah,
like
that was cool.
into the middle of the road. Yeah, they released the toy of fucking Iron Man riding the motorcycle.
Get out of here!
I shit you not. It's fucking absurd.
We had this conversation already. In fact, Ryan, you were actually there. I'm pissed about it too, but let's try to stay on WandaVision.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, sorry. I just was on the subject of retcon. I couldn't resist. So, but yeah, it also threw me off. I didn't know if you were even still there, Zach, since you were muted. But yeah, so
I've
beyond
been
that,
texting this whole time directly to you in the texting page.
Oh, see, I'm not seeing that. I'm focusing more on like what's she talking here. Okay, I didn't see any of this stuff. Oh, so Zax didn't see the Kick-Ass reference. Neat. But yeah, so I don't know.
So is that all of your issues
I guess,
with WandaVision?
I guess, I don't know. Like without a lot of feedback, I really don't know what's yeah.
No, you're not supposed to really get it. The goal is to state your issues or continuity gripes with WandaVision specifically. And if they can be cleared up, they cleared up. If they can't be cleared up, hey, it is what it is.